Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Mochi. Mochi is a telehealth platform that connects patients seeking medication-based weight loss treatment with board-certified doctors and dietitians to help them determine the best treatment options to accomplish that goal. Mochi's program is completely virtual, meaning you can access their services anywhere in the United States and you will be meeting with their team online. You deserve doctors that listen. Mochi is dedicated to providing holistic, patient-centered care that prioritizes overall well-being with the goal of transforming how weight management is approached. Mochi Health takes a holistic approach to weight loss that includes visit with board-certified doctors, nutrition consultations, and medications delivered to your door. Science-backed medications including GLP-1s like Ozempic and generic compound versions, affordable and accessible, regardless of insurance coverage. With Mochi, their dietitians work hand in hand with your medication to create personalized nutrition plans that fit your lifestyle. Reach your weight loss goals with science-backed, FDA-approved GLP-1 medications and support from real doctors and guidance from registered dietitians and help with making easy and sustainable changes to achieve results. Y'all have seen this. My wife has done it. My brother-in-law has done it. One of my best friends is doing it. And it really is an amazing process that works. So get started at joinmochi.com and use code RLRC to receive $40 off. That's joinmochi.com and use code RLRC to receive $40 off and let Mochi help change your life.
Hey, it is Ryan Seacrest. There's something so thrilling about playing Chumba Casino. Maybe it's the simple reminder that with a little luck, anything is possible. ChumbaCasino.com has hundreds of social casino-style games to choose from with new game releases each week. Play for free anytime, anywhere for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney prior to and during any questioning. You can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. You understand your rights?
Your crime spree was over, son. Yeah, you thought you had it licked, but Hitman and Overton made your sugar turn to shit. Get ready, you're gonna do time. Real life, real crime.
Warning. Each episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, will contain descriptions of acts of violence or of a sexual nature and are for people that are 18 years or older. Heed my warning, people. I do not get the facts of these cases off the internet or from some television show. These facts I'm retelling were presented to me by the victims of the crime or the perpetrators who committed the crimes. My descriptions of the crime scenes are what I saw with my own two eyes. If you are going to get offended, turn this podcast off now. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. I'm Woody Overton, your host, my co-host, Jim the Hitman Rathman. What's up, Jim?
What's going on, Woody? Hope you're doing well, buddy. How's everybody out there today?
Well, I hope everybody's doing well. Y'all, we want to talk about a couple of things. A couple things real quick before we begin the episode today. And the episode today is titled officers down. And we feel like we needed to do something to talk about what's going on in the culture of the world today and with officers and stuff like that. But we'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to give a real quick shout out to our friends at Bomb Deals and promo codes. Y'all look them up on Facebook. They have their own webpage now. They have over 76,000 members and they're just a year old. But it's this, they list all these codes that they get from Amazon, and you get in, like 80% off and stuff like that. But they even, if you get some of them just right, you get freebies. I got an alert about a freebie the other day, Jim. And believe it or not, I got 96 keychains. I know who needs 96 keychains, but hell, it was free. It was something that works out when they put up these codes, and anyway, it's pretty awesome. So, Jim,
they are fantastic. But you know what's great? It's actually addicting because I never knew anything about it beforehand, and then I started following them weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, I find myself looking at their deals nonstop, and I got my wife involved with it now, and
it's crazy.
Freaking fantastic.
And I've been up at the cabin, and I had been with Cindy, and the girls told me, to check and see if the freebies ship, because sometimes if they don't, that they realize they messed up or whatever, and so when I go to check, I said, how do you do that? And they said, go to your orders and check. Well, I go to orders, and good Lord, my wife's been going crazy on there with all the orders that she's made. But you get stuff for 80% off. It's just crazy. But a lot of this stuff that we really use, and it's pretty amazing. I think they're actually going to be on Channel 9 this week on WAFB in Baton Rouge, because it's 76,000 members and growing daily. And it's just a really cool thing. And they're good friends of ours. It's 4 beautiful ladies from Livingston Parish, and they're awesome. They're sweethearts and very interactive with their fans. But they've absolutely blown up real life, real crime. And they always talking about us, and they talked about us in their lives and stuff like that. And we just appreciate y'all, and just wanted to let everybody know. If you don't know about that stuff, you need to go check it out, because it's pretty outrageous, some of the things that they have, the deals that they have. So anyway, let's see. What else, Jim? You want to talk about the live show?
Yeah, so we have live shows January 24th and January 25th. Y'all, it's sold out in less than a day. I think if LSU didn't have a game that day, it would have sold out even sooner than that, which is super cool. We're really looking forward to meeting everybody. It's going to be January 24th and January 25th of 2020. It's going to be at the Livingston Parish Literacy and Technology Center in Walker, Louisiana.
Yeah.
Kelly Jennings has been phenomenal with getting that set up, and we are really looking forward to doing those live shows and getting a chance to actually meet and greet everybody. And Woody and I are extremely personable people, so we're really excited about this opportunity.
Yeah, Kelly Jennings and I think Crystal Hardison, Crystal, I think, is with Southeastern. Now, the Literacy Center, they share like a campus with the Southeastern Louisiana University satellite campus in Walker. But they're fantastic people, and the tickets went on sale right in the middle of the LSU SEC championship game. And then the next day at noon, you have the Saints and the 49ers, which was a divisional playoff game. It was a big deal, right, for home field advantage in the playoffs and stuff like that. But we still sold out in like 25, 26 hours. And a lot of people were like, oh man, we missed it because I was at the game, and that, et cetera, et cetera. But we're going to be doing more live shows, y'all. So this will be our first one, naturally. And we got some really, really cool shirts made up. They're going to be posted on the crew page and our websites and all that. Sometime later this evening, these shirts were designed by Blue Line Graphics, which is Brad and Tanya Truel, who actually stood in their wedding in Brad's career. Law enforcement still is with the Iberville Parish Sheriff's Office. Both Jim and I worked with him. In fact, which episode?
There's actually a Patreon episode that we did.
Oh, was it Patreon?
Where I talked about Brad.
Yeah.
It was the Patreon episode, Knockout.
Okay.
Is that what we called it?
I know which one it was, but what's his name with the knife? But yeah, I don't remember if that was Patreon or regular. Yeah, you Patreon members, don't forget y'all have episodes locked up. I think we have 5
hours worth.
Yeah, at least 5 hours worth. And then we'll be adding another one in 2 weeks. So if a lot of people are saying about how they are caught up on Real Life, Real Crime and missing it. Well, $10 a month and you get at least 5 more hours worth. But that's going to grow every month. And that's not the only thing you get. You get discount merchandise. Our patron members got first a 2-hour head start on the ticket sales. That was part of the patron benefits we provided, and they bought them merchandise, and you get stickers, just all kinds of stuff. Go to our website and look it up, or go to Patreon and look it up, and the different tiers tell you what the different benefits are that you get. And it's hugely important to us, y'all, to help us support us financially to be able to do this show. And of course, Jim and I both have, full-time jobs and stuff like that. But the patron money helps us to be able to spend the time that we do on Real Life, Real Crime. And it's invaluable. And I think we give a lot of benefits. Now, patron members, you've got to keep up with your benefits. That being said, there's a lot of y'all that are owed phone calls and different things. We can't keep up with everybody because we're not full time, and we can't keep up with everybody's benefits. My wife does a fantastic job on getting stuff mailed out every day. But y'all gotta just send us a message and say, hey, you know what? It's been 2 months and I'm owed whatever, and we'll get it to you. So we love y'all and we appreciate you.
Well, if you think about it, 5 hours of listening to the Cajun Queen and all his one-liners is worth that entertainment. These one-liners are pretty damn good, and he's got a few more in there, and those Patreon ones that'll have you laughing your ass off. Because I think back on it right now, and I'm already starting to laugh. So
yeah,
worth it.
I don't even know when I say that shit, man. Anyway, I forget about them. It's just y'all. It's just us telling our unscripted stories, etc. But we guarantee you at least one a month, patron members, and plus when we do live videos and stuff like that, we got a lot more stuff coming up for y'all in the future. Just really important. So what am I leaving out, Jim? The
Instagram.
Oh, tell us about it.
I'll tell you about Instagram. So we have maxed out really what we're right on the crew page and Patreon. We can keep doing that, but on the Real Life, Real Crime, like my page that I have, Woody's, Facebook only allows you to have 5,000 on there, and it's maxed out, and we get tons of messages that say, we're trying to add you, and they can't. So the best way to do it is actually go to us on Instagram. Because on Instagram, you can have unlimited amount of followers and following, and we can interact that way as well. Anything we do on Facebook, we'll end up doing on Instagram also. So if you want to follow me, it's Jim_Rathman. And if you want to follow Woody, it's Overton Woody. And you can also follow the podcast, which is Real Life, Real Crime. So if you go to Instagram, give us a follow. We'll communicate on there. We'll do live videos on there also. Post pictures and just different stuff. But we look forward to interacting with you because it's part of our favorite parts of this is being able to interact with y'all. So go to the Instagram and give us a follow, and we look forward to talking with you there.
Yeah, it's an another tool in helping real life, real crime grow, y'all. And it's pretty phenomenal. And I know we've had a huge response in the short amount of time that y'all been working on it, huh, Jim?
Huge. Let's see. We've got over 1,000 followers for the real life, real crime one in just a matter of, I don't know, about 10 days, 14 days.
Wow.
Well, so it's definitely starting to grow. And then our individual ones are growing as well for the podcast, several hundred. So we want to keep it going. We want to interact with all of you and keep you updated with everything. And it's great. So let's just keep it going. Let's keep growing.
Awesome. And then y'all on our, about our Facebook pages, but on our real life, real crime friends, fans, and crew page, which is pretty much the only page I go to now. I haven't been to my personal Facebook page, and other than I had to go delete a bunch of people, so I could have more followers because I was past the 5,000 mark, like you were talking about. But people that I hadn't talked to in years or whatever, I deleted them so I could get more real life, real crime, followers to accept their friend requests. But on the crew page, we passed over 10,200 members this morning. So y'all need to check it out. If you like real life, real crime, go there. It's a lot of sharing that the members share and, that we share and stuff. And there's a lot of true crime information on there, et cetera. It's really cool. And it's a private closed group. So you have to send a request to be added, and our Dream Team moderators will get you added. And Dream Team, we love y'all, the best moderators in the world. And then we have the Real Life, Real Crime Lanyap page, which is over 1,000 something members now itself, and that's for anything that's not true crime related. If you want to post videos or recipes,
if you sell candles,
you sell like stuff, whatever you want to do, you can put on there, and we appreciate it. And then we have our regular Real Life, Real Crime page, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I hadn't been to it other than to post our episodes when they drop. I hadn't been to it in forever. I think everybody's on the crew page. So y'all can,
which is great.
Yeah.
We can grow that crew page as big as we want. So let's keep growing that one.
Right.
And the Instagram, it's our the personal pages that we have for Real Life, Real Crime. You're maxed out at 5,000.
Right.
So I can go on there and try to delete again, and they keep adding more crew members and so on. But
yeah, but Instagram,
give us a shout out to Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram's a really cool thing, and I'm excited to see how big you can get it. And Jim is spearheading that with another one of our Dream Team moderators. But so yeah, y'all check that out and check out all our stuff. And if you would leave us a review wherever you listen, like us, subscribe to us. That's one thing I hadn't been saying, Jim, subscribe so that automatically, when the episodes are dropped, they'll get it. Like when we didn't have to, when we pulled the Courtney Coco, episode about who the shitbags are that murdered her. When I pulled that episode, everybody that was subscribed to Real Life, Real Crime got it. And whether they had listened to it right away or not. So y'all go subscribe to us. And then if you would leave us a review, especially on iTunes, it does something with the algorithm to help bump us up in the search engines. I think we have like 12 or 1,300 reviews, which is a lot for iTunes because it's not the biggest platform by far for podcasts, but it helps us out. So if y'all would do that, we'd appreciate it. And we love all you lifers. And we appreciate your support. And it doesn't matter if you can't be a patron, just, like us and share us. And we just appreciate y'all. So one more thing real quick, Jim, that we have a lifer, Amanda Gambino, who's a hairstylist in Baton Rouge, and every client that she has that sits in her chair, she makes them download Real Life, Real Crime, whether they listen to it or not, or she won't cut their hair. And she's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart, but her husband, Dre Gambino, is a a rapper out of Baton Rouge, but he's not. He's like a Christian rapper. He's not a thug life rapper, et cetera. At the end of today's episode, we're going to play one of his songs. It's called 10 Toes. And so we'll get that up. Y'all give him a listen and a like and all that. And again, thanks to Toby and Shelly Tom Play for our intro music. And we also want to thank Chase Tyler and the Chase Tyler Band for they're constantly supporting us and blowing us up. And, y'all listen to all of them. They're all great people. All right.
They're all incredibly talented.
Yes, they are. We're blessed, man. We got such a gumbo of different fans that have different professions. It's really crazy. And across the world, y'all, 126 countries across the world. So anyway.
Get some love to Australia. They're huge.
Oh yeah. I don't think I got to tell you this last night, Jim. They were talking about that we actually have someone who's trying to set up a 4-city tour for Real Life, Real Crime in Australia. It would be sometime in late 2020. But they're looking at venues and for live shows for us to go over and do a series of live shows, but we'll get to that. We'll talk about that later on. It'll be later on in 2020, but yeah, we love our Australians. They, and they love
great people.
They love their true crime. So two of our dream team moderators are, from Australia. So, all right, let's get to today's episode, y'all. And we're raw and unscripted and unedited and all that, but we want to talk about something that just makes me sick. And that's the culture today and all the cops that are getting murdered. And just yesterday, Jim, alone, I think I had 2 or 3 different lifers private message me about friends of theirs that were cops that got killed yesterday. And I was like, you know what? And you and I had talked about this just last week. And I said, we need to talk about an episode where we worked, cop shootings, et cetera, but just bring some attention to the heroes that go out there every day. And look, cops, teachers, nurses, firemen, or basically any first responders, I think they're the most underpaid and underappreciated professions out there. But, the cops are the ones that are getting murdered every day. And one guy yesterday got murdered. He was pulled over on the side of the road in his unit waiting to meet up with his partner. And then somebody just drove up and gunned him down just because he was a cop. And it just doesn't make any sense to me, man. It just hurts my heart. The people are getting killed, and we could talk about this forever, like the Baton Rouge shootings. All the cops got killed, and we'll do something on that one day. But we just wanted to touch on it. Go ahead, Jim.
There's an unnecessary war on cops, and it just doesn't need to be. They're out there to try to help people. There's good and bad in every profession you have. But I will sit here and say that most all the law enforcement professionals out there do the job because they love their community. They love the people that they serve. They're there to help and protect. Because when you have your worst moments, no matter how bad those moments are, they're the ones that are racing to get to you to provide you help. So whether you've treated them poorly in the past or you've treated them great, they're coming.
Yeah.
And that's their job. And they do it because that's what's in their heart. That's what they believe in. They're just truly dedicated law enforcement professionals. And there's a war against them. Why? Because there's people out there that are doing wrong. They can't stay on the right side of the track. So therefore, let's just go ahead and take out a cop. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's not their problem.
And all
it's unbelievable.
The culture of hatred towards cops nowadays. You know what? I don't know if it's a generational thing or whatever. I mean, if it's a generational thing, you could blame it on dumbasses that eat the Tide Pods and shit make videos, right? Or the jackasses that open up the Bluebell ice cream in the store and lick it and then put it back in the thing. I mean, that's just being fucking stupid. But killing cops just because it's the cool thing to do, and I mean, what in the hell's gone wrong with this world, man?
Just a bunch of desensitized people that just lost their moral compass, you know. And
I never had
I could
one.
sit here and think back to when I was working the road and in uniform, and hell, I'll never forget. I'll tell you right, it was at Freedom Fuel on 190 in Burgess, if you remember that station there. I remember going there one day, and I bought a Gatorade, and I was talking with somebody, and a guy comes in that I have had foot pursuits with before, and he looks over and he sees me, and just where I happen to be talking at, yes, I was close to where the donuts are, where you can grab them. Who cares? You know, so he ends up saying to me, he goes, "Oh, look at that, next to the donuts. That's a shocker." I was like, "Yeah, but I had no problem catching you." You know, and they just constantly like to throw the zingers out there. They constantly like to treat you like trash. They don't want to serve you nowadays. They're putting stuff in your food.
Oh, that's crazy shit.
Why?
Yeah, the writing. You know, on somebody the other day, a cop got something for Starbucks or whatever, and they wrote "pig" on the side of their cup. Right? I mean, I guess it's just different, man. For me, because I remember when it was an honorable profession. I remember times rolling through the hood or the barrio, and I knew everybody, right? And you know, certainly I went down there and arrested a hell of a lot of people. They called me on the street the wolves. They said I was always down there hunting. But here's the deal: I've been in fights down there where I had no backup, where the citizens came out and helped me. You know, because I didn't fuck them over. But if I was getting after somebody, it was because they were, you know, dealing dope and stuff like that. But nowadays, shit, you couldn't pay me to go in there. You know, and people getting shot. Well, I mean, just, hey, ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through: premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone supporting supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC. Hey, y'all. You want to set your child up for success? Is your child struggling with a specific subject or need help with the subject? Is your child ahead, not getting challenged enough in class? Well, IXL Learning is an online learning program that enriches your homeschool curriculum. It offers practice in math, English, language arts, science, and social studies while adapting to each child, meeting them where they are. Plus, IXL encourages students to become curious and empowers them to choose how to learn. Look, we homeschool our son. No doubt about it. He's more of a visual learner, and we use IXL, and Cindy teaches him, and there are so many different benefits to the program. It adapts to exactly what he needs in different areas. So IXL is the perfect supplement to your homeschool curriculum. IXL offers interactive practice problems, educational games, lessons, and video tutorials for every topic you're teaching at home. It's easy to use, time saving. Everything on iExcel is organized by grade, subject, topic, and subtopic, making it simple to find activities for the exact skills you are covering. iExcel offers instant feedback and explanations of new topics as kids use the program. Kids can explore any topic in any grade level. They aren't forced into a single learning path like they are on other programs. If you're homeschooling your child because they were falling behind or because they were too far ahead like our son, iExcel is a great program to help them get the exact support they need. Kids love iExcel's positive feedback awards and educational games. iExcel is trusted by 15 million students worldwide and has proven to improve performance in over 75 scientific research studies. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get iExcel now. And Real Life Real Crime listeners can get an exclusive 20% off iExcel membership when they sign up today at iexcel.com/today. Visit iexcel.com/today to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price. And don't forget, Real Life Real Crime listeners get 20% off. Y'all, we really do use this product, and it's been a godsend. Crazy, man. Executing.
So I want to go ahead, finish up.
No, it's just
I got a little
some of them are
something.
like just straight up fucking executions. Then you got to mention, I mean, you know what? Yeah, all those fuckers that hate cops like that and want to kill them, they all hate them and want to kill them until they need one day.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you this. This is one of the trends that I saw, and I know all the law enforcement officers out there that are listening to this are going to know exactly what I'm talking about when I mention this. But one of the things that I noticed, one of the problems I see today is that a lot of people are scared of law enforcement. They're scared of law enforcement because of what they're told growing up. And I can't tell you how many times I've been somewhere where I've had a parent go, hey, my kid didn't want to do, whatever, homework or didn't want to do this or that, and say, can you tell them what will happen if they get in trouble? Put them in handcuffs.
Yeah, right.
And I would just look at the parents and I would say, no, I'm not going to put him in handcuffs because then he grows up being scared of us. He doesn't need to.
Right.
Instead, what I do is I'd squat down and talk to the kid and just chat with them.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to be scared. And I tell you what I did with my children when they were younger and they look at a police officer, everybody's always nervous and scared. No, I'd have my son walk up to a police officer and shake their hand and say, thank you for protecting us.
Absolutely.
And you know what? You'll find out that a lot of police officers are very human. They have children too.
Right.
We're not there to put people in handcuffs unless we have to put somebody in handcuffs.
Right.
And that's the trend right there. Why should we sit there and tell your kid we're going to lock them up for not going to school or for doing this or for doing that? Just makes them scared of us, and it's creating a culture of kids and people that grow up to be adults do the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Police officers, we don't go out to work every day to say, hey, we're going to put everybody we meet in handcuffs. Yeah. We're going to put those necessary in handcuffs, but we'd rather have great contact with the community and not have to put anybody in handcuffs. That would be a great world.
Yeah, we helped a whole lot more people than we hurt, and that's why I used to train the young cops. You don't have to go out of your way to be an asshole to somebody because there's enough legitimate assholes out there that give you a reason to put your hands on them or do whatever it is, And I mean, go out there and help people when you can. If you can't help them, don't hurt them. But I mean, you got to do your job. So I don't know, but I think let's talk about, I think, Jim, at the beginning of this week, it was like 119 cops have been killed in the line of duty so far this year. 119 people who got up, went to work to support their family or themselves, and never came home that night. And that's more than 2 a week. It's just crazy. I don't know.
That's actually one every 2 or 3 days.
Right. I mean, and none of them are getting rich, y'all. So just think about that. And I think about what's going to happen. Like in Chicago, and we have some lifers that are cops in Chicago, and where the culture is so bad and all the shootings are so bad and everything that the cops are quitting rolling into the neighborhoods, because I mean, you know, getting shot at and everything. Not they don't quit, but they're more reluctant to do actual policing because of the hatred towards cops and stuff like that. And I mean, what's going to happen one day, people?
I mean, look at
people
those videos in New York City when they're dumping water on the police officers just for walking through the area.
Right. So what's going to happen is you're going to find there are going to be less people wanting to be law enforcement professionals. And what's going to happen one day when you don't have enough people to man the streets, to be the blue wall? And, a lot of people think the blue wall is a derogatory term, but actually it's not. It's the wall that separates good from evil. And, keep fucking around, keep doing it. And it gets much worse than it is. You won't be able to get anybody to be a cop anymore. Between the pay and the hazards and people executing them or shooting them, and just the hatred, spitting in their food and everything else. Keep fucking around, America, and see what happens.
Yep, that's right.
Anyway, so today's episode is Officers Down, and we are going to tell you. I'm sorry, I was looking at something, Jim. We're going to tell you a story that happened when Jim and I were working as partners. And Jim, I'll let you take the lead on, and I'll cut in and out on you. Nothing worse for a cop to hear over the radio than Officer Down. And so we're going to tell you that, and this is, a true, real deal story. It's nothing funny about it. It's, no jokes or anything like that. But go ahead, Jim.
Was it Veterans Day?
No, I think it's Memorial Day. No, wait, no. Which one is it? Which one is in September?
I'm sorry, it was
Labor Day. Labor Day.
See, so I'm getting them all confused. It was Labor Day, so it was September of 2006. It was a Monday or a Tuesday. I'd have to go
Monday.
back to the
I think
look,
I think it's a Monday.
It was a Monday. So Woody and I were on our week of nights, so we were actually out and about working on that day.
Real quick on that, because it was a holiday, y'all. On the holidays, the night shift guys would cover it like they did when they covered 24 hours a day on the weekend. And it just so happened, like Jim said, that was our week of nights. And so we ended up, all the other detectives could be off, and we ended up covering that full day, that full 24 hours between us. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yep. And I was out, and I was doing some following up, and I hear a bunch of commotion on the radios, and within the city limits of Denham Springs, it's shots fired, officers down. And, as a law enforcement officer, when you hear something like that on the radio, I mean, it's, you know who the people are that are involved. You hear officers down. You have that, that fight or flight kicks in so fast. But also, you have such a heavy heart at that moment. Like, my God, this is my brother and my sister that I work with that's, in dire need right now. And when that happened, I knew right where the street was, and I punched it. I took off to get over there because every available unit needs to get to that location immediately because officers need help. And so when I got to that location, I was one of the first ones outside of the city police, because the city police had a few people there already when the shooting had happened. And so when I pulled up on the scene, one of the officers, his name is Matt Martello, Matt had been shot multiple times. And what I noticed when I got there was some blood from when they pulled him out from where the shooting happened at. He didn't have time to wait for an ambulance, y'all. He was in dire need of medical attention. And what they chose to do,
Jimmy, tell him where he was shot. I mean, he was in the face.
He had been shot 3 times. Point blank, he was shot in the face. He was shot in the wrist, or went through his forearm, wrist, and then what was the third one? Was that in the abdomen area?
Yeah.
Because it was 2 shots, one into the face, one went down his vest, and then one into his forearm. And he was just one of the 2 officers that were shot. Right. The other officer was actually shot twice. He was shot once in the bulletproof vest and once in the small of his back. So before we get into how that happened and what happened, when I pulled up on the scene, Matt Martello had just taken off with him, and he was pulled from where the shooting had happened out to where there was one of the police units. And they didn't have time to wait for an ambulance, because an ambulance is going to have to wait for the scene to be safe to be able to come on, or they're going to have to meet at a different location. They weren't even there yet. But Matt was in dire need of medical attention. And so they did exactly what they should do, and they loaded him up into the back of a police unit, and they had an officer in the back of that unit with him, while the other police officer drove that unit, lights and sirens, as quickly as you can to the hospital. Because from this location to the hospital is about 5 or 6 minutes.
Probably,
and if it wasn't
probably a little bit more than
for that action.
Yeah, but go ahead. I said it's probably a little bit further than that, because the closest one at that time was across the river in Baton Rouge at
Alpha O'Neill.
Alpha O'Neill, that's right. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And and if they didn't do that, I don't believe Officer Martello would have gotten, or I keep saying officer. I believe he was a corporal or a sergeant.
He's a corporal. Yeah.
Corporal, I don't believe he would have gotten the medical attention he needed in time if he had waited on an ambulance. So that action by his law enforcement brothers saved his life in doing that, because they were able to rush straight to the hospital, straight, to pull right in. They're waiting and get him that medical attention right away.
Straight into
but
surgery.
That's the chaos that I saw when I first got onto the scene.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Woody.
They had to rush him straight into surgery, and the
hours of surgery.
Yeah, I mean, I think should have went on. He's had multiple surgeries since, I believe, and all, but but I don't know. I mean, that's it. I mean, and Hooter, like you said, was shot, and let me give it a little bit of background on him. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I hadn't mentioned who the second officer was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That day, and that was Officer David Hooter. David was the second officer shot in that. He was shot twice, once in the vest and once in the small of his back. And it was actually David Hooter that was able to turn and fire off a shot, which killed the suspect. So we need to paint a picture of what happened, what led up to that. Right. And I'm going to let Woody talk about it, because the person we're speaking about that was killed in this whole incident, there was a lot of stuff that led up to this. And I'm going to let Woody talk about that.
Okay, I'm going to tell you real quick. I had worked with Hooter when he first came to Livingston. He came from Georgia. I forget what part of Georgia. I think right there outside I think it was right outside of Chattanooga, because I remember telling him that I had lived in Chattanooga, whatever. I can't remember the name of that city now. But anyway, Hooter was an Army vet, like Jim and myself. And he came, he first went to, we worked the street together in uniform patrol and for the sheriff's office on the night shift. And then he later on would move to Denham Springs City PD. Hooter's a great guy. Just he was a good law enforcement professional. I mean, he didn't ever get too excited or whatever. And, he wasn't one of the guys, that needed the badge to feel like a man or whatever. He was just a good, solid cop. And so I don't think he had been with Denham that long, maybe a year, maybe two. And then,
Right.
Matt Martello was a corporal. And now y'all, let me explain this to you. Denham Springs is the largest city in Livingston Parish. And so they have their own police department. Now it's a smaller department, but good group of guys, and they're the highest paid city police department inside the parish. So they had good equipment and good training. And their detectives were certainly good friends of ours, and we knew them all. We'd work cases, but they would call us in. The sheriff's office, the sheriff is the highest ranking law enforcement official in the parish. And, no matter what, he can have jurisdiction if he so chooses to. But so you have Denham Springs City, and then you have Walker City Police and Livingston Town, and then the different town polices out after that. But they had a good force and some good guys. I mean, certainly Matt and David were not rookies, but what happened on this day is they were responding to what we call a 911 103D call, which is a domestic disturbance. And it was domestic disturbance. Actually, it was a 103G, which is a disturbance with a firearm. Now they go to the residence of, Daniel Anderson Jr., who was 46 years old, and he lived with his parents. Now, his parents are separated, but they had like two houses kind of next door to each other on the street. And, but Daniel Anderson, y'all heard me talk about frequent flyers. Well, he was definitely a frequent flyer for Denham Springs City. He was always getting arrested. I think he had over 25 arrests before this day. And going back for years, including illegal carrying of weapons, criminal damage, and disturbing the peace. And just 2 months before, in May, he was picked up after walking in public with a gun. And actually, it was an assault rifle with fully loaded 30-round. Y'all citizens would call them clips. We call them magazines. Doesn't matter.
Magazines.
So he's walking down the street with an assault rifle, and I don't know if it was an AK-47 or AR-15, but he's walking down the street with it, and it's fully loaded, one in the chamber, and he has another 30-round magazine on his person. So, he had a history of mental illness also. But I mean, so they knew when they get the call of 103G at their house, first of all, they were like, shit, we're going over here again. Certainly he had never shot any of them or anything like that, but they know that, hey, they probably call many, many calls a year out there. The parents were, like I said, were split up, and this guy is an adult now, and he has a history of mental illness. And on this day, he was off his meds, evidently, his mom said, and he was threatening, et cetera. The day before, she had found another rifle that he had gotten his hands on somehow, and she hid it from him. Well, what she didn't know on this day was that he had found, or I don't know, he had procured.
He may have had it.
Yeah, somehow he had a 40 caliber pistol, a handgun that his mom did know about, but he was just being all irate and shit and raising hell. And they knew when it got to that point. She called 911, And then she called her ex-husband, his dad, and it's like, hey, he's out the box again, you know. So, Hooter and Matt roll up, and as they're walking up to the door, Matt was in front of Hooter, and the mom goes to open the door. When she goes to open the door, Daniel Anderson runs around her, physically shoves her to the right hand side of the door, and as the door swings open, he just starts unloading. And unfortunately, Matt was caught the first three, at least. And I mean, he goes down immediately, and Hooter catches two and is able to, like Jim said, he turned and fired one time. And
So
go ahead.
So when he shoved his mother out of the way, Matt Martello was literally directly in front of the door. David Hooter was off to, if you're the officers looking at the door, then David Hooter would have been a little bit off to the right and behind Matt. And when the gun came out, he pointed straight out, fired the round, first round, which hit Corporal Martello in the face. He shot again and again. And so one of them went down his vest, and then the other one went through his forearm. And so he drops right away. So right when the gunshots happen, David Hooter, as anybody would do, you start to get behind something. You have to. You can't just stand there. It's known as a fatal funnel. So you have to find some way. So he retreated in order to be able to get out of the way, to be able to fire back. And so before he could even turn to run, he took his first shot in the chest with the vest. Then as he turned to retreat back, there was a wooden fence that went around this house.
That's right, little picket fence. Yeah.
The picket fence, and he was trying to get past it. And granted, bullets can go right through wood, but it's harder to hit somebody if you can't see exactly where they're at.
Right.
But he's retreating out of there. He takes the second round in the small of his back. Mm-hmm. Now, we know that the guy fired more times at David Hooter because it ended up into the wood of the picket fence.
Right.
When David got to where the door is to come into that picket fence, he was able to turn, and he fired a single shot. And that single shot hit Daniel directly in the heart.
Yep.
And it dropped him right there. He was deceased before he ever even hit the ground.
Right.
And it was just one shot. Now, here's the heroic part of this, and this is where the bond, Woody and I have talked about previously, there's a bond that you have with your law enforcement friends or people that you work with. There's that bond in the military. There's no closer bond that you're going to have with somebody than someone that actually protects your life, that you're putting your life in their hands. And in this particular case, keep this in mind, David Hooter has now been shot twice. Now, just because you have a vest on doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It hurts like hell.
Right.
And he took one dead in the chest, was shot in the small of his back, turned, fired around, which dropped the guy and killed him. But he doesn't completely know, is that guy officially dead or not?
Absolutely.
But what does he do? Knowing that Corporal Martello is in dire need of help, he then goes tactically, after calling out on the radio of shots fired, officers down, he knows he's been hit. He tactfully went back up towards the door and grabbed Matt and pulled him out of that entire courtyard. Now, for those of you that don't know, there's a difference between, and Matt Martello was not a small guy.
No, he's a big guy.
He was probably just 6'2", 6'3".
At least.
He was tall. He was 200 plus pounds plus equipment. Now, somebody that you're trying to carry is, that's 200 pounds is tough, is already. But when they're unconscious and it's dead weight, it's even heavier.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing anything to assist you in that drag. Here it is. He's been shot twice, yet he's dragging Corporal Martello, tackle out of that harm's way and out towards the street behind a police unit to keep him protected.
That's right. Without knowing that the guy's dead, the bad guy's dead. I mean,
correct.
Yeah. I mean, so
without knowing it, he might have suspected it. but he doesn't know that yet. So he's got to keep an eye out for that guy while dragging Corporal Martello out. And what he did is he dragged him out of that picket fence, out of that courtyard, into the street right behind the police unit to where he can provide cover. And that's when the other units came up and they were able to get him into the back of the police unit and get Corporal Martello out of there. That's how quickly it happened. And I'm going to tell you, that is one hell of a heroic move by David Hooter to do that. I mean, y'all, he's been shot twice.
Yeah. And
this happened so fast. And for him to be able to do what he did is incredible.
Yep. I mean, you can't teach that, man. That's, it's the love, instilled in you, and certainly heroic, but, I mean, especially, let me talk about this real quick. When, bad guy starts unloading, I remember, and we'll talk about it more in a second. He unloaded his whole magazine. He fired until he didn't have any more rounds, or he was finishing up his last rounds when Hooter was finally able to return fire. So, like I said, Hooter doesn't know if he's hit the guy. He doesn't know if the guy's reloading. Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Or if he's going to get a shotgun or whatever, and he goes back in after he's wounded and pulls Matt out and saved his life. I mean, he really saved his life because they were, if it had to wait to get the scene secure, like Jim said, in an ambulance and all that, there's no way Matt would have made it. So, just some heroic shit. And
some very heroic stuff.
So, we get there. Well, I got the page out on it. And like I said, when Jim and I were partners, we'd split up the weekend or the night part, I wasn't going to call him out unless it was something major, and he wasn't going to call me out unless it was something major. We'd handle it ourselves. Of course, there's nothing more major than this. And so I got the call and I rolled down. I actually wasn't that far. I didn't live that far away from there at that time. I lived in Watson. And we roll up. The first thing, of course, you've got everybody in the world's coming. You can hear sirens coming from miles. Every cop in the parish, troopers, DPS cops, city cops, Walker Police, Sheriff's Office, town units from all over the parish are coming, because cops are shot. And I mean, it's how you roll. But we have to get there and do what we have to do, which is naturally we took over the scene and worked it because it's still going to be, it could be homicide. We didn't know that either Hooter or Matt were going to live. And so we had to work it regardless. And so by the time we get there, I met with, I think, Gator was still their lead detective. He ended up being chief not long after that. And Jones, he's a polygraph examiner also. And I think Patrick McNabb was there and whomever else. But when we got there, it said, hey, they said, will y'all take this? And I said, absolutely. And we did what we do, which was, first of all, we made them widen the corridor with crime scene tape. Well, go ahead.
One thing to kind of mention too is a lot of times you don't work your own police shootings. You always kind of reach out to somebody else to do the police shootings, because that way you have somebody that's not directly related to the officers involved.
I don't think almost always you're going to have an outside agency work your stuff, and that stops lawsuits and stuff like that, and saying it's favoritism or whatever, whatever. So, but if we would have done it anyway. I mean, that's pretty much standard protocol. If any of the towns had a shooting or something like that, we would come in and work it. And just like if it was one of us, the state police would come in and work it. And it's just the way it's done, if it's done properly. So anyway, we come in with first thing we did, and Jim and I got together. I'm like, okay, Jim told me that the guy was 10-7, a bad guy, which means he was dead. And so I told Gator and them, I said, I want blocks cordoned off. Nobody gets in. I don't care if it's the sheriff. I don't care if it's the chief of police. I mean, nobody gets inside the crime scene tape until we get done processing. And of course, we called the Louisiana State Police Crime Lab to come out and collect evidence and do photographs, etc. So go ahead.
one of the reasons why the crime scene was getting so much bigger too was, remember, he fired a bunch of rounds at Officer Hooter as he was trying to get his way out, which all those rounds went through that wooden picket fence. So we don't know where those rounds ended up. It could be a block away, could be in somebody's window, could be anywhere.
Right.
So that crime scene got a lot larger.
And I'm going to describe it to you as I see it when I get there, where Jim and I are walking up. It was it wasn't a tall wooden fence. It was like a half picket fence, a short fence, and it had a little gate in the middle of it. It was it's just a small house, maybe like a 2-bedroom house, and it was a very small yard. Now, I know you cops out there are thinking, well, Martello shouldn't have been standing in front of the door if he was responding to a 103G. Well, you didn't have an option on this one to approach tactical, using tactics, good tactics, because I mean, this yard was like miniature size, small, and
there's no cover,
and between the gate, there was no cover, nothing. Between the gate and the front door, it probably wasn't 15, 20 steps. I mean, it's small. So when they had to go through the gate, basically, I think Matt made it through the gate. Hooter's coming in behind him before the Hooter may be trying to move off to the right a little bit, and the door just flew up, and he's standing right there. I mean, it point blank unloads on him, and thank God that Matt went down with just 3 rounds, and then Hooter became the target. But anyway, so we walked to the little gate. There's blood everywhere, and I mean, you know, they get you fired up. You know, it's your brother officer's blood or officer's blood, and we were walking up, and we go, and the parents had been removed. The mom had been removed from the residence at this time. And we're going in to do our initial assessment, and you walk in the door, and right almost in the doorway itself was the bad guy, Anderson, and he's deceased, shot to the heart, man. I mean, there was no doubt about it. He was dead. And a lot of times on shootings and stuff like that, we let Acadian ambulance come in and run what we call a strip to see if there's any body response. Well, no, this cat was definitely dead. And, so there's no need for that, but there were shell casings everywhere, et cetera. We let the coroner come in, and I mean, just so he can note it and say, yeah, I confirm he's dead. And then we backed out. Nothing else for us to do other than let the Louisiana State Police Crime Lab guys come in and girls come in and do their stuff and talk to the parents. And so we go to talk to the mom and dad who were divorced but living, and they stayed living right there close to each other because the son would go back and forth between their houses. And yes, he had a long history of mental illness and all that, but you know, the parents, that was probably, I can't say the easiest one, Jim, that we've ever did, death notification. But I mean, I don't want to say that they were relieved. I mean, I'm sure they were hurting, but they understood, and they were actually, and I'll never forget this. The mom and the dad, we told them and said, yeah, you know, the mom knew anyway, said he's definitely, you know, deceased and sorry for your loss. And all they were concerned about were the cops, were Hooter and Matt. And they were so sorry that it had come to this. And the mom was like, I just took a gun and hid it from him yesterday. And, you know, I knew he was getting off his meds again. Well, what happened is evidently he would get on his meds and he would be doing perfectly fine. And he'd think that he was doing so fine, he didn't need his meds anymore. And he'd start slipping. But I mean, this dude had been doing it forever.
One of the biggest trends with mental health and mental illness, and this has been, and there's a lot of research done on this as well, but a lot of mental health patients are compliant with their medications for a time period, and they're doing fine. But at some point, they decide, well, I don't feel like these meds are doing anything for me anymore, or I'm kind of tired of having my head feel like it's in the clouds.
Right.
So they're like, but I don't need the medication, I'm fine. So they stop. And that's always been a trend, whether you're bipolar, whether you're schizophrenic.
Right.
That it's just a trend where you're compliant with your medications for maybe 2-3 months, and then all of a sudden there's that 1 month where they decide they don't want to take the meds, and then stuff ends up happening.
Right. Yeah. And then I mean and it goes back, and I'm go ahead and cut off the questions now, because the first thing that everybody's going to want to know is if he's got this long history of mental illness, what the hell is he doing with firearms? I can't answer that for y'all. But I mean, other than you can go down the street and buy anything you want to, basically. So you don't have to go up to a gun dealer to get a gun. I mean, bad guys have guns. That plenty of bad guys have guns that have criminal records, et cetera. And obviously this guy had a lengthy criminal record, but he was always getting his hands on guns. As a matter of fact, his parents said he was obsessed with guns and knives. So, but the one thing that stuck with me though, again, was the parents, even though they were grieving the loss of them, it was almost like they were almost like relieved in a way, but they were more concerned about, Hooter and Matt. And, but I mean, once the scene was worked and the evidence collected, Jim, I think he fired 12 or 13. I'm not sure. I mean, what hell? I think that weapon was, fully discharged, but they collected.
It was fully discharged. We know that he actually shot 4 at Matt Martello, from what we're believing, but I think he missed the one as Matt Martello was going down.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one that was that didn't even hit the wood. It actually hit across the street.
Right. That's right.
But it was, and then all the other rounds were fired at Hooter as he was running, and it's much harder to hit a moving target.
Let me tell you all this too. The bad guy was shooting from an elevated position. It was a small step up porch, like 3 steps up, and they opened the door, but it wasn't a wide porch or anything. So when he throws open the door, that he has a height advantage also, a couple steps up on him, and he just fucking unloaded on him. And, anyway, so they get done working the scene, and we basically would tag him and bag him and take him out. Of course, an autopsy had to be done, because it's still, I mean, we didn't know if Matt and them were going to live and everything else. And you don't know if people are going to come back and sue or what have you, but it had to be done. But that's what killed him, was a shot to the heart. And, that's what the autopsy showed. And that's it. I mean, I just, every single day, every cop you see, think about, and people love to say about cops writing tickets and shit. I mean, I didn't give a shit about writing tickets. I hadn't wrote a whole book of tickets in my entire police career. But, people want to hate on cops or write tickets or do whatever. But you know what? You hate them until you need them. And, you ought to thank them. You really ought to thank them, everyone that you see. Because one day, God forbid, and we can tell you this from dealing with thousands of people who never thought they would have to call 911, who never thought they would be the victim of a crime or a violent crime or a burglary or whatever. And, that's when you have your appreciation for law enforcement most of the time. Yeah.
You don't know what that shift has been like. I mean, I know shifts that I've been on before where, one in particular, I had a bad domestic, got the guy attacked me there in the domestic. I was punched in the face that night. Got him under arrest, got him to jail, came out, and a few hours later, there I am saving a guy's life on the side of a road who was ejected from a vehicle, right, as he and his friend thought it would be cool to do a little drag racing. And, he was ejected from the vehicle, and now I'm sitting there saving this guy's life. I mean, you go from one extreme to the other. Yeah. And, we didn't get into this job to get in fights with everybody. We got into this job because we want to help our community.
Right.
And we want to serve the people that are within our city or are within our our county, our jurisdiction, and that's what we do the job for.
Yeah.
We'd rather have a hell of a lot more good encounters than bad encounters.
Right.
But you just never know what they're going to go through. And of course, when you need them most, I mean, hell, how many times would in your career somebody just always treated you like shit, but that one day they need you,
Oh yeah.
they're quick to call.
Yep. And
And they're going to come. Law enforcement's going to come. We can't sit there and say, well, no, they treated us like shit this amount of times, and they bashed
That's
us here and
exactly
they've done
right.
that. So
Yeah.
we're just going to slow roll or not go at all.
Yeah.
We have to come. That's our job. And they do it anyway.
We're going to come. We would come and still treat you like a professional, no matter how much of a dickhead you are, or how much you hated us or did whatever. I mean, we were coming because that's what we were sworn to do. And, so y'all think about that when you see a cop. We're not saying all cops are good, but no profession is 100% good. I don't care. I don't care what it is. But
the majority of law enforcement out there are great people. Great people. They will do anything in the world to help you out, and that's just who they are. It's in their blood, and that's what they choose to do. I have so much respect for those that are willing to go out and protect and serve, just like I have so much respect for those that put on a uniform and defend this country.
That's right. I agree.
It's what they feel in their heart, and they go out and they do it. So y'all give some love to the law enforcement out there, because they most certainly need it, especially in today's society.
That's it. And a random act of kindness or a hi to a cop or a thank you, that cop might have just came from working a dead baby. You know what I mean? They might need that. So, even though they're sitting there with a stoic face or what have you, show them a little love, pay it forward or whatever. Let's try to turn the culture around, man. I'm not wanting to get on a soapbox and preach about shit, but it's fucking enough, man. 119 dead, people getting assassinated for putting on a badge and a gun and going to protect other people, and they're not making any money, y'all. And cops have the highest divorce rate, and all the other things that go with it. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
They don't do it for the money. They do it for the love.
They do it for the love. That's right. And certainly I didn't do it for the money. I did it because I loved it. And so thank a cop, hug a cop, or do whatever, maybe one day that same cop that you get, give a hug to or a handshake to and a thank you to might be the one that saves your life. He might be your David Hooter that pulls you out of the line of fire when somebody's unloading on your ass.
That's the truth. And for those that want to know the status of those two officers, David Hooter made a full recovery, was working. I know he had to take some time off to heal, in physical therapy and so on, but he came back to work and was able to work again. Matt Martello had some permanent damage that was done to his arms, but he made a full recovery. He made a recovery and was able to come back to the police force. He was more into investigative as opposed to working on the road, because he still was able to have his incredible mind, and was able to still do investigations and be able to help in those areas. And we're just incredibly thankful and grateful that all those on the scene that day and his law enforcement brothers, and I say brothers because there weren't female officers out on this particular scene, but they were able to get him to the hospital and get him that medical treatment. And David Hooter, man, you've done a hell of a job. I haven't talked to you in a while. I love you. We used to have some really good talks, and we even had a good talk a week before this incident happened. But they've done a tremendous job, and so all those involved with that just did great in saving an officer's life.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. So that's it, y'all. I don't know.
Appreciate the love and support from everybody.
Yes, we do. We definitely
like we told
do.
you earlier, if you want, 5-6 hours worth of more entertainment, go to the Patreon group. sign up, $10 and up. Get on that. You got 5-6 hours worth of entertainment. We keep adding to that.
Yeah, and you get all your
times a month.
You get your free stuff too. I mean, we just got in our new stickers, and I know Cindy's been busy mailing it out to everybody that's owed with our new logo with mine and Jim's name on it. Just it's a bunch of stuff, but yeah, of course, you got to go hear the Hitman episode. That's one of the 5 that's put up, and we're going to put up a really, really good one on January 1 to begin 2020. But we love and appreciate all of y'all, and keep liking us and sharing us and all that good stuff, and we'll keep doing what we do. And that's it.
Give us a follow on Instagram. Give us a review on iTunes or wherever you download your podcast from. We look forward to interacting with you guys.
Yeah, and we appreciate y'all. We love you. And till next time or ever, don't let us catch you down on murder. Bye, you. Peace.
Peace.
Play that shit on TNT.
Wish I could run about my life, but it's not a walk in the park. It's like running with a sword in a pitch black dark. I don't know when this gon' end, and I don't know when it started. They keep telling me keep faith, but sometimes I feel heartless. Don't me run up them bands, I don't give a fuck they saying. I just move 4 pounds, and never think I'm taking out the trash. I was skipping class, clutching Glocks and flipping flicks. Posted up, selling hard by the train. Come and try and jack and get your soul snatched. I ain't need no help, pull them cables by my long list. Stomach in my back, if you got it, then I want it. Them coppers question me, but I ain't responding. If they question you, your lying ass, I'll be honest. If I put the iron on you, how ironic. You know, lay you flat like a doormat. Just like it's still where your heart at. Lord, protect my soul. Hug me tight and don't you let me go. Don't you let me go, yeah. Lord, protect my soul. Be quick to judge and don't know where I've been. Lord, protect my soul. Hug me tight and don't you let me go. Don't you let me go. Lord, protect my soul. Be quick to judge and don't know where I've been. Wish I could run about my life, but it's not a walk in the park. It's like running with a sword in a pitch black dark. I don't know when this gon' end, and I don't know when it started. They keep telling me keep faith, but sometimes I feel heartless. Now, child, you know you better watch out. These streets are only about heartache and heartbreak will bring you down if you let it. You better tote a gun at all times. My city is deadly. We live like DMX and eyes out belly. You say it's smoke, but I don't choke. Watch how I French your head. I see some shit I'm taking to my grave. I never tell you. Say what you want, but niggas know that I don't mind being a feeling. No need to deck them up the Glock. I'm trying to real life stretch. Plastic attitudes around here get them real life melted. Wish I could run about my life, but it's not a walk in the park. It's like running with a sword in a pitch black dark. I don't know when this gon' end, and I don't know when it started. They keep telling me keep faith, but sometimes I feel heartless.
I'm Rebecca Sebastian, host of Dialogue. I'm also the creator and host of Yellow Tape, a true crime trivia show in New York City. In these live shows, we cover the who, what, and when of popular true crime cases, but we can't always deep dive the way I would like. That's where this podcast comes in. Dialogue picks up where Yellow Tape leaves off. Each week, I'll interview professionals, podcasters, and players in the true crime space. We'll attempt to answer the why of true crime, why we love it, why it happens, and what we talk about when we talk about true crime. And yeah, we'll probably play some true crime trivia too. So, are you ready to explore the heart of true crime with me? I think we'll have a killer conversation. Be sure to subscribe to Dialogue on iTunes today. and download the premiere episode of Dialogue wherever you listen to podcasts starting July 31st.
Get ready, you're gonna do time. Real life, real crime.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.